All right, I just finished up a Q&A session for people who were interested in my upcoming emotional body practitioner training. And there were some great questions, and I thought I would share it with you if you are sitting on the fence, because I realize that I might have been putting a few people off about whether or not they're eligible to actually do my practitioner training. And one of the things that I say on the info webinar that I've done, which I've put on the podcast, by the way, for the next 10 days, if you want to jump on and listen to it rather than watch it. And also on the sales page of Emotional Body Practitioner Training, is that you must be an experienced practitioner or coach. So I love the large proportion of the group to be people who have had experience working with clients. However, it was really great because I do feel like the practitioner training is evolving, and there were two amazing people on the call today that I can absolutely see that this work would work for them, even though they're not practitioners. And these were people who are in the corporate world and running particular type of businesses. So I'll share a little bit about that with you in a minute. So I also want to clarify that I do take some people on who are really early in their coaching journey. And I talked about one of the amazing ladies who has started with my practitioner training and now in my mastermind, who really, really wanted to come on my practitioner training and has no background at all. And I was just like, I don't know if you're going to be the right fit, but if you really want to jump on, this is what you're going to have to do. And this person is now coaching and seeing clients and absolutely loving the results that she's getting with people. And so I hate to think that I'm shutting off people who are just naturally gifted with facilitating this deeper emotional work. It's just a little bit different, your experience, and it's going to be all very new learning if you come on and you're in the early days of your practice. But what I love about you getting this information early on is that you know the opportunities and you know how things can look, rather than getting stuck in a rut a few years down the track in your coaching business or in your therapy business, because we just talk about all the possibilities and different ways that you can implement this. The other thing is, if you are a practitioner who is finishing up your studies, that's okay as well. Again, I already know that we've got some practitioners on board who have got experience working with people. You can all feed off one another in that group. I probably just don't want a whole group of complete newbies. So then the other thing is people who you've been in therapy for a while, but your therapy and your business isn't quite working for you, then the practitioner training is also suited to you. So if you're not too sure, and I'll tell you just a little bit of background without giving too much detail about the other people where I feel like this training is starting to evolve and involve more people. If you're not too sure if you're the right fit, please just send me a written message on Instagram, and I will probably send you a voice message back, and we can just work out whether or not you're the right fit. That was the other thing I was going to say, actually. So some people feeling like they're not quite ready for this training is that if you're drawn to it, I would say you're ready for it. You don't need to go and learn a whole bunch of stuff before you come into this training. It really encompasses so many different things. You get to learn a really clear and simple process that you can utilize with your clients to take your treatments and sessions deeper. You get to learn about doshas and chakras, which just adds so much depth to how you can read people's bodies. And then, we go into a crash course in business, but we're really encouraging you that you do get clients, and we're going to help you with how you send your message out, how to get clients so that you can work with them and have the support while you're with us on the training, because you don't want to go through the training and then say, I'll implement it after, because that is most likely when you're going to get stuck. So we're there to help you in real time and give you support, and you learn so much off the other people who are interacting with their clients. during that 10-week period of time. So the thing with people who are in the very early stages of starting their business is that you're probably grasping a lot of new business concepts as well. So there is a lot of learning to implement then. And I do have a mastermind for coaches and therapists who really struggle. They've done all the courses, but they're just not getting the business they want. Then that is a mastermind to really help you implement. But the course, the training is to teach you something that you can actually use with clients. And then the mastermind is, okay, we're going to implement and help you with all the stuckness and resistance that comes up. So the two new people who I'm pretty sure they're going to be jumping on board are just going to add a completely different dynamic. And this was someone who was interested in, they're in the corporate world and just seeing how much people and work colleagues need this work. And so I focus a lot on communication. And within a team, within a workplace, there's often different personalities and different body types. And so this is where the dosha work is really fascinating. And for this person, if they come on board, they're going to learn so much more about themselves and then be able to read their team better and work out where they're placed and why the communication clashes happen or why people don't like one another. And also help potentially resolve workplace issues, because there's this really neat technique that I teach people around communication, which just, again, sounds so simple, but it's the implementation that's a little bit gets a little bit sticky for some people. So I was like, yeah, totally. You could use this in the corporate world. So everyone is going to implement this technique and these processes differently. And I don't teach cookie cutter systems where I say, this is what you've got and this is what you've got to do. There is a little bit of structure to the process. It's all about creating aligned businesses as well. Businesses that are aligned with your values and that are operating the way that you want to do it. That's what's really important. So we get to be really creative about how you're going to implement this work. Then I had another lady who, I don't want to give away too many details without permission, but works with a particular group of people and babies and kids. And what I saw for her, I hope this makes sense because I'm not giving away too much information, is that, again, is teaching her with especially around the doshas and chakras and the emotional work, is how to hold space and be around what is potentially quite a challenging group of people, and to understand and just see the person for who they are, not for their disease, their issue, their complaint, but understand the traumas and the emotions that are stored in the body and perhaps the generational trauma that's happening and why these people are presenting this way. And dealing with young babies and kids who are potentially discharging so much, because I was talking about how kids and babies don't really have the social barriers or boundaries on them. They just, when something doesn't feel right, they let it out if they've got that safe space. And for us as caregivers and therapists, if our emotional cups are too full, we're not going to be able to hold space for these babies and kids that are discharging a lot of emotional trauma that's been passed on to them. And again, the doshas are really fascinating to understand kids and why they might behave certain ways. And another thing that I teach in this realm, especially if people have got addiction issues or like drug, alcohol, all sorts of addiction issues, is understanding what is at the root of it. And how can you speak and communicate to someone to help them recognize and create a greater awareness around their behavior, around why they have that addiction. So a lot of people with addiction, they don't quite make the connection of the emotion that's coming up, and therefore whatever it is they do, the drugs, the alcohol, the retail therapy, the sex, they don't have a lot of awareness of the emotion that comes before they reach out for that thing, which actually suppresses the emotion that comes up. So it's really fascinating. I hope that story made sense, because I know I didn't want to divulge too much information. We did a Q&A, it wasn't recorded. But basically there are so many different ways you can use this stuff that I teach on emotional body training. This stuff, it's just like huge what we go into. We go into energetics, we go into emotional processing, we go into like the conventional world as well. There are so many different ways you can use this, whether you're a body worker, you're a talk therapist, or you're managing a team. So yeah, this is where I feel like the training is starting to evolve, to start to bring more people on board. But I can only answer your questions if you ask them. So if you feel like you'd love to jump on this round, but you don't know if you're ready, or you don't know if or how you're going to be able to use this, then please just send me a message and we can work it out. Also, because the early bird for the training is ending on Sunday, the 26th of September. So if you haven't listened to the webinar and you're a practitioner or a coach, then you can jump on the podcast. It'll be up there, the audio version, for 10 days, or you can grab the replay in my bio link, and the whole sales page and info is all there. Lots of amazing testimonials from previous practitioners. And yeah, now is the time to change your practice if you're stuck and your only option really is to work online. There are so many ways that we can integrate this, and myself and my amazing coaches, Anya and Cole, who are going to be on board this time, we all work very intuitively, we're very practical, and we just deliver so much information to you over a 10-week period of time. And if you're present with it and you can stay engaged with it, then so many things in your practice and your life can change. All right, see you later.